What's going on, fam? This is Jacob Polacco with SpiceVagrant.com, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. People ask me a lot what kind of gear I'm bringing with me, how much to bring on their next trip, and I've got a formula that works really well for me for probably up to a month. This setup, anywhere in the world, I think I could get by for 1 month with this, so take notes. I got the Osprey Kestrel 48 right next to me. This thing has been through 3 continents with me, 7 countries. And it still looks like the day that I bought it. I am pretty hard on this thing when I travel, and it's always stood up to the test. I think it's because if they don't, they know they got that lifetime guarantee that'll take care of things. So we're about to dive right in on this thing. First, we can give a brief overview of the sort of things that I bring with me. So for any good gear set, there's gonna be just an insane amount of cords. So just, if you think you might need it, just pretend that for however long you're gone, you're like the Radio Shack, the only one you're going to see for 100 miles. And just grab stuff like this, just cords, chargers, adapters for different kinds of ports. Depending on where you're going, you might need a different kind of plug-in. Just look into that stuff and you'll get your own little scrapyard of stuff like that here too. Keep this huge Mountain Smith fanny pack guy as my camera bag. Nothing special there. Always bring some kind of cushy bag for delicate lenses and so on and so forth, filters, hoods, things like that. External charger. This saves my butt all the time. It is something you charge in the wall, and then whenever you are out and about, you bring it with you. Charge your phone, charge your camera, charge your little tiny speaker that has Bluetooth capability and can clip to anything. Charge that. This is the iFrog's tadpole. Super cheap, just a few bucks on Amazon.com. And I'll provide links and stuff for that. Got the GoPro Hero here. And kind of some of the stuff that I actually use for this thing, because it'll come with tons of just junk for on-the-go recording. It does get a great film, but it also comes with just gear you'll never use. But I do use this like sandwich clip thing. I'll mount it to whatever. I put a flotation device on it because I had it mounted to my leg while I was surfing in Phuket, and it worked great for that. That way, if it happened to come off, it would float. It comes with its own little Joby articulating tripod, so that's super helpful. This is the real deal though, that Joby articulating tripod. You can mount this thing to whatever and put your camera on it and get an awesome shot. So this is great for like putting on trees, or use it a lot when I'm wanting motorcycle footage, things like that. Pretty cool, dude. Now this is the Rode microphone. It's the mini one. Very nice. Throw this chinchilla on top of it and it blocks out the wind very well. I don't know if these are actually called chinchillas, but that's what they look like, a little pet. This is just a bracket to get it to mount to the boot of your camera. And my camera is the Lumix GX8. I'm using it to film this video right now. But I bought this brown case for it, and it is pretty awesome for me. Just keeps it super low profile. The Lumix GX8 can film. It's a mirrorless camera, so it's super tiny, but can film a fantastic 1080p 60 frame per second video. And I always bring a watch so that you know, I can think about when it comes to filming and photography and stuff. When you're out and about, light becomes a big deal, and you got to kind of time out your day a little bit. So it's just nice to have that there as a fail-safe. Plenty of little delicate wipies for all the lenses and things. Memory cards for days and memory card adapters. Just back up your footage and camera and everything. Back it up every night to something. All of mine are Bluetooth, and I just back it up to my phone every night. You don't want, you know, worst case scenario, your camera to fall into some lake or something that you're doing on vacation, and then all of the footage goes with it too. So they can take your hardware, but they can never take your freedom. That was Braveheart that said that, I think. There might be some kind of clause where I can't talk about that. Don't sue me, Mel Gibson. Anyways, I got these battery packs. 2, 1 in the camera, so 3 that I'm taking with me, and their chargers, connectors for the roads, and more adapters. And all of this will fit into here, goes into my Osprey Kestrel 48 backpack, and I am good to go. Don't think I mentioned this guy. Selfie stick. That comes in handy sometimes. The GoPro is good for going underwater, so I really like to dip this thing underwater to get a really awesome shot deep down into the ocean that's pretty smooth, or lake or whatever. So anyways, all this stuff will fit in my bag. I will will it into existence. The littler stuff, actually I keep in a separate front pouch. So I don't lose it. I've got the Zome travel tripod right here that I use for setting up camera stuff. All of my cords. I go with the Lumix GX8. That is my camera of choice. And the brown case works really well on that. All of my camera gear. I don't know if any of you know this, but I do some stop motion animation on a lot of my videos. So I bring my stop motion stuff with me when I travel. Those will be interesting getting through customs. I bring this. So check this out. This is just a weird Jacob thing. I bring a rolled up towel, and it is not held with a rubber band. It's not held with a zip tie, twist tie. It's held with a shoelace. You never know when you might need a towel, and you never know when you might need a shoelace. You just thank me later. 3 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of underwear. I got some sandals that I bring with me. Some nice ventilating shoes for walking, hiking, getting down. And then whatever shoes I bring with me when I wear. So I always think about what outfit I'm going to wear there, too. Especially if the climate's different. Think about that. 3 shirts, 3 pants. Only 3 outfits will get you by in any situation. You can wash and hang dry. You can, I guarantee, anywhere find a laundromat. I've been in some of the most obscure places in the world and have always gotten by finding a way to do laundry with 3 outfits for an indefinite amount of time. And one other thing that I don't hear anybody talking about in these backpack review things is a means to bring stuff back. I would much rather go there with less, just enough of what I need, with a half-empty backpack, and be able to come back and have 3 times what I left with, and like bring back all of that cool stuff that you never know when you're going to get a chance to see again. So check this out. I got the REI Road Tripper duffel in medium. I keep this thing right about here when I'm loading my backpack, and it's like a little cushion for me, makes the load not so heavy. But also, look at this thing. Bang bang, you know what I'm saying? You check that on your way back, you've got endless possibilities. Now I'm like a ravenous antiquer, so I love to get stuff that I may never see again and bring it back for friends and family, for myself. So that's something that I really like to do. And then it packs away too. May not be the most graceful thing when I'm doing it, but more or less, no fuss. Alright, I got my toiletries, but beyond that, nothing too exciting in there. But beyond that, I always bring extra bags. Bring an extra bag. You don't know if it's going to rip, you don't know what you're going to need. If you've got a wet towel because you went swimming, or a wet swimsuit, you know, different ways to pack things up. Think about what you're going to accumulate as much as you think about what you're going to bring. So I like these bags with the nice cardboard thing at the bottom. Alright, that's kind of my quirky little setup. And then we can just dive right into the Osprey Kestrel 48. Now this is, again, a pretty worn one. You wouldn't know it to look at it. But it's got this back support, and it really contours to your back. You can adjust it based off the height of your spine. You can use these load adjusters here to sort of whether you're going downhill or uphill, positioned where the load is falling, and it makes it feel much lighter. But the main feature here is a reinforced hip belt that you can put most of the load on your hip. So you can kind of be wearing most of the backpack's weight on this area right here once it's fully adjusted, and save some of that strain off of your neck and shoulders that'll be killing you after a few days. Inside, we've got a place where I keep toiletries, a nice expandable cavity here, some mesh on the front pocket as well. Once you're inside, it's just straight down, but in the heat of the moment, if you need to grab something, you put your passport. Well, you never should put your passport somewhere where you can't grab it easily, but say you do, and you got to get to it real fast. It's all about that front zip, baby. Let it breathe. You can get in there and get anything you need that way too. So having multiple options is very important for me. As I said, this is extendable, so meaning if I'm not using too much of it, I can really fold it down and clamp it down and make it small. And then when I'm ready to load it up, I can really expand it a lot. And it cinches on the side to make that process even more smooth. So that's kind of the main functions of it. First thing I do when I put on a backpack for trying it out, I see if I can reach with it on the water pockets, and I see if I can open any pockets that are supposed to be convenient, see if they're actually convenient, because it might be one of those design didn't meet function. So before you buy a backpack, you can always go to REI or Moose Jaw or a supply store like that and try it on, get a feel for it, and then see where you find the best deal at. But that's what's worked for me. So let's go ahead and load it up. Let's see how I've done. Toiletries. In the toiletries. Put the bags down here in the bottom where you've got this adjustable lower cavity. And that's where I put my, my wet stuff too, so nothing gets wet below it because it's at the bottom. Toss my shoes in there as well. It's like the mud room of your backpack. So again, I'm loading from the bottom up, and that'll make it carry a lot more evenly. So be thinking about that when you load it. Think about how your back's going to be against it, and place things that will work well for that. So the bottom's zipped. Go ahead and snap that up. And this is a great time to talk about, right here, that's a freaking built-in rain cover, my dudes. That thing comes out, and it really has saved me on motorcycle rides where you're strapped in and you can do very little about your space or the weather. I threw this over this, and it really saved, all of my valuable things having this on hand. Then when you're done with it, put it right back in its dedicated pouch. And move on. So, as I mentioned, I like to have this guy kind of as a back pad. So I put that right there against where my back's going to be resting. And then while I've got room in these pods, I love these little pods, because they just shrink everything. You roll up your stuff properly, and by properly I mean kind of like this. Just a nice tight roll, folded. And then you find it shrinking more and more the more you load it. I have 3 of these, but this trip I only think I'll need 2. Got my camera gear. We'll start with the tripod. fits right there on the side. But I want the camera gear to be easy to access. So I'm going to go ahead and stack it up. We're going vertical, people. It has this really nice cinch down function. You can see that? So you can get another level of separation there. You can cinch it down below this expanding part, and then things that you want to access very quickly, in this case my camera stuff, can place down on top of that. And since I chose to stack it vertically, instead of really making it kind of stick out wide, that's just kind of a personal preference. But just know that you just cinch it down accordingly. You cinch it down on the sides. So this is my travel setup. Like, it's not going to be everybody's first choice. I'm sure there's things that people would think that I'm missing, and this, that, and the third. And leave that in the comments, because, you know, I'm not the authority on these things, but I know what keeps me actively filming, taking pictures, enjoying myself, and capturing the moment to bring back and share with everyone around me. So, you know, whatever does that for you is your ideal setup. This gear is not going to make you better at any of this stuff that you want to do. It's ultimately what you decide to put into it. So I hope you found this video helpful. Again, I'm Jacob Polacco with Spice Vagrant, and if you like this content, go ahead and press the like button, share, and subscribe. As always, head to spicevagrant.com to get the whole scoop, and check in on that new Thai cooking master course. Hot, fresh offerings from spicevagrant.com. Anyways, thank you for tuning in.